Welcome students. Today we are going to revise the chapter, that is chapter 4, force and friction. Okay, the whole chapter today we actually discuss force and friction. At first we have to know about what is force. So first point is actually what is force. Simply, actually, what is force? Force is a push or pull acting upon an object, okay, as a result of an interaction. So we can say it is push or pull, okay, which is acting upon an object as a result of interaction. And also we can say this force is a vector quantity, okay. we What is quantity? Which is measurable, okay, that term is called quantity. And here force is a vector quantity, okay. And for vector quantity, actually vector quantity has magnitude and direction both. So force has magnitude and also direction, okay. That is why force is a vector quantity. And also we have to know what is the unit of force, okay. So already we discussed this. Actually SI unit of force is, simply we can say, what is the SI unit? SI unit of force is, simply we can say that Newton, and CGS unit, this is dyne. And what is the relation between Newton and dyne? 1 Newton is equal to, we can say, 10 to the power 5 dyne, okay. And these units actually gravitational unit, okay, gravitational unit of force. Now what is the, sorry, this unit actually absolute unit, okay, not gravitational unit, this one actually absolute unit, okay. Now what is the gravitational unit of force? Actually the gravitational unit of force, that is in SI system, this is 1 is kgf, and for CGS system actually the unit is gf. And what is the relation? Simply we can say 1 kgf is equal to 1000 gf, and these units are called gravitational unit, okay. And if we applied a force to a body, then what actually happen? Actually we have to know about effect of forces, okay. So the next point is, that is effect of forces or effects. What are the effects of force? Actually there are several effects, like first one, that is a force can move a stationary object. So first one is move a stationary object. Suppose a body is at rest, that means suppose a football is placed on a ground surface and we apply a force to football, then the body, then the football starts move, okay. So by actually applying the force we can move a stationary object. Now the second one is, a force in generally can stop a moving body, okay. So as we actually move a stationary object with the help of force, similarly we can stop a moving body with the help of force. Okay, and also the third one, that is actually a force can change the direction of moving object. Okay, so can change the direction. Okay, can change the direction of moving body. And also the fourth one, a force can change the speed of moving object, can change the speed also for moving body. And the fifth one actually can change the shape and size of object, can change the shape and size. Okay, shape and size, these are the effects of a force. Now actually, what are the types? Okay, in short, the next point is simply types. Okay, so what are the types of force? Simply we can say there are two types. First one is contact. Okay, and the second one is actually non-contact. So in this case actually there are several contact forces that are, suppose we take a different example, like for contact force we take as first one is muscular. Okay, muscular, and second one is frictional, and etc. And for non-contact force we take different force like magnetic force, gravitational force. So here we take magnetic, gravitational. Okay, gravitational force, and also electrostatic, and etc. So actually what is magnetic force? Actually it is the force between two magnets or one magnet and one magnetic substance. Okay, and what is gravitational? In generally when two body having masses are placed at a distance, okay, then a force that is called gravitational force, gravitational force act on this body. And what do you mean by electrostatic? This is basically the force between two charges. Okay, between two positive charges or two negative charges, or one positive and one negative charges. And what is actually muscular and frictional force? Okay, later actually we discuss about frictional force. And actually what is muscular force? Actually we generally use muscular force to do some difficult work, to complete some difficult work. Now here actually you have to remember, for electrostatic force, if we take, suppose for this case, if we take for electrostatic, if we take, actually there are two charges, one positive and another negative charge. If we take two positive charge, then actually in this case we get repulsive force. Okay, and if we take, suppose for this case, if we take one positive and one negative charge, then actually there is attractive force. Okay, and for gravitational force actually always we get attractive force. Okay, for gravitational always force is attractive nature. And also for magnetic case, actually if we take two different pole, like suppose north pole and south pole, then we get attractive force, and if we take north and north, north, then we get repulsive force. Okay, now we move actually to our next part, that is actually friction. Okay, so before going to friction, actually here we can also write, if we take south and south pole, then also we get repulsive force. Now the next part is actually what is frictional force. Okay. Simply we can say that friction is actually one type of, already discussed, one type of contact force. So what is friction? This is actually contact force, and this force actually depends on two parameters, that is, one is weight of the body, weight of the body, and also second one is nature of the surface. Okay. Nature of surface. So for this case actually the friction force does not depend on the area on which the body is placed. Okay, so this is the key point, actually very important point, that is, if suppose we take friction, so friction does not depend on area. Friction does not depend on area on which body is actually placed. Okay. Now if we take two different bodies, suppose one is 10 kg and another one is 20 kg. Suppose this body is placed same surface and we take two different bodies, and body of first one is suppose 10 kg and body second, that is suppose 20 kg. So for this case actually this is A and this is B. So here actually B actually feels more friction due to its weight, as nature of the surface is same for both cases. Okay, now we move to our next point, that is simply we take types of friction. Okay, in generally types. Okay, in generally there are actually total two types. Okay, so one is static friction, when force is applied on a body but body does not move, body is at rest condition, there is also a friction, that friction is called static friction. And the second one is kinetic, if a force is applied to a body and body moves, for this condition also a friction acts, that friction is called kinetic friction. For this kinetic friction actually divide into two parts. Okay, one is actually sliding and the second one is actually rolling. Okay, here actually all these friction, static, sliding and rolling, this type of friction actually depends on coefficient of friction. Okay, so for this case actually we can say rolling friction coefficient is less than sliding friction and sliding friction coefficient is less than static friction. So here we can say coefficient of static friction is greater than sliding friction and sliding friction coefficient is greater than rolling friction. Okay, so now the question is actually if we take friction. Okay, so there is some advantage and also there is some disadvantage of friction. Okay, in generally, we take some advantage and also some disadvantage of friction. Disadvantage, like what are the advantages? At first we take actually due to friction, actually friction helps us in walking. So this is for walking, friction helps. Okay, and also writing on page, this friction is also help. Okay, so again, to stop a car we use brake. Okay, so to stop a car. Okay, and also we can say it allows us to hold object. So again, the another one is hold object. Okay, friction help to hold different objects. And also we can say, okay, for safety purpose in road, friction is very applicable. Okay, friction is applicable in on the high road to safety purpose, for safety purpose. Now what are the disadvantages? Simply we can at first say, due to friction actually tires and tubes, okay, actually friction produces heat. That means actually machines produces large amount of heat that damages the moving part. Okay, so the first one is damages the moving part, and the second one, what is the second one? Actually some energy is lost. Energy is lost due to friction, and also friction produces wear and tear. Okay, and also we can say friction produces, okay, friction produces wear, friction produces wear and tear, wear and tear. And now actually we have to reduce friction. There are actually several procedures to reduce friction. First one is, we can say, oiling, lubricating, polishing, and also streamlining, and also providing wheels or ball bearings. Okay, in this way we actually reduce friction. Okay, so friction is very helpful also, and also we can say if friction is more, then we have face some disadvantage. Okay, and if it is actually in necessary, then sometimes we increase friction. Okay, so because for actually safety purpose we use uh, actually some tires and tubes for car that actually produces friction on high road. Okay, so in this way we actually use in safety purpose. So these are the actually simple idea about the whole chapter. Okay, so in this chapter actually we discuss force, what are the effects of force, and actually what are the unit of force, and also types of forces, that means contact and non-contact. And second we move the next part, that is actually friction, and it is also an example of contact force. We will also discuss about contact force, when actually friction occurs, types of types of friction. And also we actually here realize that friction is very necessary also, and also it is actually, it loses energy. That means actually there are several parts in which friction has some disadvantages. and also there are several parts in which friction has actually advantages. Okay, so actually both is required, okay, for this purpose. And actually this is the end of today's class. In the next class we actually discuss about the whole chapter, that is simple machine. Okay.